Yeah.
You guys are complete enigmas when it comes to Madoka Magica.
Ignoramuses, if you will.
Yeah. Doofuses.
Stupid idiots. Episode 91. Mari Cromby Weebs. My name is Cole. His name is Mike. His name is Jay. We like anime, and this is episode 91 of the Anime Protagonist Podcast. And on this week's episode, we are reviewing the anime, the one and only, the beloved anime known as. I was going to call it Mari Cromby, but that's not his name. Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Yes, thank you.
You guys watch Madoka Magica? I watched.
Yeah, you better.
I watched Dumbbells.
Oh, okay. Well,
you review Dumbbells. We'll review Madoka Magica.
Okay, how about we do it at the same time, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see how similar the shows are.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna mute Mike while Jay and I review Puella Magi Madoka Magica.
Oh, so it's just your dream episode then.
Yeah. Then we're gonna upload it all as one giant annoying mess, as opposed to the normal annoying mess that we usually put out. Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Flight Simulator recently, guys. A lot. I bought a new flight stick. I bought a new flight stick. That's really the only thing that I purchased. It's a pretty nice flight stick, though. You did
reveal it to me, and it does look.
How does it compare to the old flight stick?
Well, it sticks up my a lot more comfortably than the old one. Yeah.
That is a feature that you do need.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I mean, it is quite.
When you think about it,
shapely.
What is the point of a flight stick if not to put it in places a flight stick should not go or should go in this case?
It should go. I mean, if they didn't want it to go there, why did they make it shaped like that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah,
it's true.
That's sound logical.
Yeah, it's just like a microphone.
What? Yeah, flight sim. You know, I've just been kind of holding off on playing games. I've actually, before we started playing, I was playing Genshin Impact as well. So we'll see you guys in a few months.
Oh, you're back in the Genshin. Do you know what I actually saw today, Cole? Actually, not today. It was like yesterday or the day before. Honkai Star Rail Genshin sequel. Right now,
it's on the PlayStation Store.
If you want to play PS5, you sign up for the testing run. It is open to all right now if you want to be a tester for PS5. So PS5 coming very soon.
Very soon. It is on the PS5 store. I have subscribed to it and added it to my wish list.
There you go.
So now I'm just waiting for the actual release. But that was getting into my segue, Michael. I am very excited for Honkai Star Rails. And it got me thinking, what games are you guys excited for? What games haven't you played? Like what games are on your on the periphery of your vision?
Okay.
And they're almost there. You're about to grab them, whether they're out now or not. Excuse me, because I know Mike's the kind of guy he holds off on like getting new games, which is understandable. I'm not giving you a hard time about it for once.
That's shocking.
For once, but just this one time. Everybody gets one, right, Jay?
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
I'm waiting for like
your
5 minutes. 5 minutes from now, you guys are gonna just destroy me, probably. Yeah.
Wow, I don't know.
It's the way she goes.
Yeah, but I was just wondering, like, what games are coming out? What games are out that you want to try out? Jay, what say you?
I mean, Jay, if it feels like a game you wanted to play and maybe wanted to talk about on the podcast, what would it be?
Tell us.
I mean, I talked about this in excruciating detail in our Discord. Join our Discord, by the way.
Yeah.
Join our Discord. Hey, we're like 4 minutes into the episode and we've already got a Discord plug. That's a new record.
Where can they find the link to the Discord, guys? As like wonderful podcast hosts that we are.
You can find that on anypropod.com. ANIPROPOD.com.
Yeah.
It's
also in the description of where you're listening to this.
Yeah.
You beautiful, beautiful baby.
Yeah. But yeah, I
That's
apparently
right, we're talking to you.
Yeah, you. Yeah, let's let Jay talk about his game.
No. We need to talk about how lovely these listeners are because they are lovely.
They are lovely. They truly are.
Quite lovely.
Jay's been playing Nekopara, everybody.
Yeah.
With the nudity patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No denial. No denial.
Well, I am looking forward to a visual novel.
Okay.
But it's not Nekopara. Aniplex just announced that the remake for Tsukihime is coming to the West in 2024, and I am beyond excited. For those of you who don't know what Tsukihime is, it is another visual novel by Type Moon, who did Fate.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's the other big Fate property.
It's the other big Type Moon property, which was actually done before Fate Stay Night.
Yeah.
It's the other white meat. Is it as confusing as the Fate series?
No, because there's only one.
Okay, beautiful. Love it.
There's only one, but they're like pseudo-connected. Like everything kind of takes place in the same...
I mean, they're multiple routes, if that's what you're thinking.
No, I mean like...
Oh, like the universes are connected.
Yes. For example.
Yes.
And also Garden of Sinners is also connected.
Garden of Sinners is also in that universe.
So when you say connected, it's kind of like how like technically the main character in Tsukihime could meet like Rin Tosaka or something. Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Technically, yes. In fact, they have in Carnival Phantasm.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Specifically, what the example I would use is at the end of the Fate movies. What are those called again?
Heaven's Feel.
Heaven's Feel. At the end of the Heaven's Feel movies, the main like magician or mage from Garden of Sinners is in it. And I'll tell you off air so I don't spoil it for anybody.
You're not thinking of the girl, right?
I'm thinking of the one who's like the... I'll tell you.
Yeah. We already spoiled some Quint stuff last week. Let's not do it 2 weeks in a row.
No, I'm being careful. I'm not gonna reveal anything. Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
Cole. It's Dark Daddy. Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes,
first of all, second of all, what the hell, man?
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah,
spoilers for a movie from 1979.
That also The Simpsons spoiled.
Yeah.
Well, everything spoiled it.
Yeah.
Pop culture spoiled it.
You know what? While Jay's talking about Tsukihime, quick, like, how long do you think it's fair to spoil something? Like, how many years? I say 5. 5 years, that's plenty of time to watch something.
It
Maybe
really
even less.
depends on it. It really depends on it. Like, let's say, for example, we're talking about Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Stark dies at the end. Spoilers. That was and is the biggest movie of all time. I feel like everybody's watched it, and if you haven't watched it,
you probably don't
like
want to.
3 months.
Yeah. Or like
it really
like
depends.
That, it's so big that it's probably been like you've seen a meme and got spoiled about it anyway.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah. If we're talking about like, I don't know.
Without giving like a good, like for the movie Fight Club, there's a really, really big spoiler for the movie Fight Club.
Right.
Would it be fair for me to say that, the spoiler to you? I would say no, without a warning, because it's, I know I just said 5 years, but it kind of ruins the whole movie if you haven't seen it.
There's different types of spoilers as well.
Yeah.
Like, the example I used was what it was, and there's a emotional catharsis to that, but the plot doesn't, like, your mind isn't blown by that spoiler. Whereas in Fight Club,
that's the whole point of the movie, right?
That's the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I haven't seen Fight Club.
Yeah.
Before we start spoiling the movie,
we're gonna.
Hey, you should watch Fight Club. It's actually a really good movie.
I know. Before people start flaming me for not having seen Fight Club, I'm just gonna pretend like he's still here.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Just keep going.
Yeah, before people start flaming me for not having seen
back to the OG days.
Back to the OG days. Before people start flaming me for not having seen Fight Club, I want to watch it. It's just like a good opportunity to watch it has never come around.
Mm-hmm. I love our conversations where it's the three of us all here all the time. None of us ever leaving at any
hold
point.
on. I'll be right. No, I'm kidding.
Hello. Hi.
No, I was saying to Jay, it was like going back to OG Annie Pro days where it was just Jay and I.
Yeah. All we needed was room echo and we're back.
Yeah.
You're back, baby. Can you actually hear me now? Am I back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I got a little thing that my antivirus was updating or something. It's like, we have to restart your antivirus. And I'm like, oh no, is it about to and then it disconnected me. So
we have to explode your computer.
Yeah.
Computer will
doesn't mess up too bad.
What were we talking about? Video games.
Yes.
Tsukihime games.
Yes.
Tsukihime.
So the remake is done by Ufotable, which notable studio might have heard of it.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. And the OP it's pretty good. I'd recommend checking it out.
It is good.
It's certified pretty good, eh?
It's up there with the Persona 5 openings, I'd say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really like choice.
Maybe we should show it to Mike off air.
Maybe we should, or maybe we shouldn't, and ask him what video games he wants to play really, really, really badly.
Now you've put me on the spot. And this is the point. Remember how I said like 10 minutes ago that you guys were going to tease me relentlessly in like 5 minutes?
I want to play Pong on the Atari.
Here's the games I've played recently. I'm playing...
I want to play Frogger.
There's this hot new game I've been playing on my phone. It's called Pokemon Crystal. Do you guys know it?
Never heard of it. Is it new?
It's pretty new to me. No, it's not. I played it as a child. I've been playing it like on my phone as like a way to pass the time, because Pokemon games are great for that. You can like pick it up and put it down, and you don't have to really know what's going on. You're just good. The other game I've been playing a lot of is Atelier Ryza. I'm like in the final grind where you're like about to go beat the final like level, you know what I mean? But you have to kind of like grind a bit to get there.
Yeah.
It's just standard game stuff. Yeah. And then the other game I've been playing, I played it on the plane while on my way to Ottawa last week, was Danganronpa 1. So in other words, like the newest game I've been playing is like 4 years old.
Honestly,
and then the oldest game I'm playing is like 20 years old.
Mike, you gotta just set aside your realism and dream. What are you dreaming of playing?
Oh, I can dream.
You can dream. You can
dream.
pop any game into
This is a
PS5.
world of dreamers.
Oh, you know what? I think I know the next game I probably want to play, honestly. There's two games I'm excited for that are coming up soon.
Tell me right now.
The first game is a little game. Have you guys heard of a game called Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I have heard of that. In fact, I've played it.
Oh, okay.
I've played it too.
I've been thinking about playing it as my next JRPG I play through.
You should.
I should.
It's pretty good.
I've heard it's pretty good.
It's pretty
this little indie property called Final Fantasy seems to get a lot of hype these days. I'm a Final Fantasy fan.
Those little indie developers, Square Enix.
Yeah, Square Enix.
Circle.
Squarnix.
That one I'm tossed up for, whether it'll be that or what was the other one? It was on my head. Now it's the butterflies have taken it out of my brain and they're flapping away with it.
Oh no. Fireflies.
And it's gone. I don't remember what it is. I'll think of it in like 2 minutes and then
Superman 64.
Superman 64.
Yeah, cool. Is there any games other than Flight Sim you're really looking forward to?
Well, I am definitely looking forward to Honkai Star Rail. And in fact, I didn't realize that you could sign up for the beta, so maybe I'll do that after we're done here.
It said it was open to anyone, so I think you can.
Interesting.
I think it's just like you just agree and you're in.
The other thing I just saw came out quietly, I didn't even realize it came out, was Fires of Rubicon Armored Core. Just came out.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, a lot of VTubers have been playing it. I've been watching a lot of VTubers lately.
I really want to, because I love mechs. Mechs are so cool.
Yeah, mechs are sweet.
But listen to me, my friends. I am also a rage gamer, so a game like that will probably induce anger the likes of which this earth has never seen.
That Cole is very, very rage heavy when it comes to video games.
You don't even have to add though when it comes to video games.
No, I've gotten better, I think.
You should see the way he looks at us, listeners, as soon as we're off the air. That's it. That's the look.
That's the look. That's it.
That's the look.
That's the one. Take a screenshot. If you're watching it on YouTube, take a screenshot. That's how he looks in off air.
Look of love.
Yeah. He's just like Grumpy Cat for real.
R.I.P. to a real one.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, Armored Core. Honestly, I really want to play this game, and I'll play it some point in the future. I don't know.
I don't know. It looks cool. Like
it's Armored Core 6
from Software.
Yeah,
Armored Core 6. I think it's 6. Fires of Rubicon.
Yep, that's correct.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's got an easy mode, so I can play it. I doubt it. It's from Software. So.
Can I tell you guys like a revealing thing about me, like an embarrassing little secret?
What's that?
I've never played a from Software game in my life. Yeah.
I'm
scared of them.
I've played all of them. Bloodborne's probably the hardest one.
Whoa. Okay. Hey, Mr. Big Hands over here.
I mean, I don't know.
Whoa. Show us your feet.
Not yet. Not yet. We're
277, man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Though I'm not wearing socks today.
You're just gonna tease us like that. Yeah. You're gonna drop a nugget like that. You dirty dog.
The only Souls-esque game I've ever played was Nero.
Neo.
Nero.
Isn't it Neo?
Oh, I'm sorry. It is Neo. Yeah, you're right. N-I-O-H.
Okay,
yes.
I'm glad Jay corrected you there because I'm like, what game is that? I've never heard of it.
It's Neo. Okay. And I couldn't even get past the tutorial.
I remember you sent me a text when you got it, being like, "Oh yeah, I got Neo. I'm looking forward to trying it out." And then you sent me a text like a day later. I stopped playing Neo.
Yeah. No, I knew. I didn't rage. I didn't rage. I simply uninstalled the game.
Yeah.
For the health and safety of your PlayStation 5 and controller and walls.
Yes. I simply thought, no, thank you.
Considering the fact that you smashed your not to pieces, but like you hit your controller against your desk.
Oh, you should have seen
playing
Cole's old controllers.
Just playing Demon Slayer with me. Yeah.
The graveyard that the controller graveyard that I've contributed to is vast and unending. Yes. Yeah, I was probably like the other than like submersible companies, I was probably like the lead purchaser of disposable like cheap controllers. So,
which is probably why they smashed so easy too, because like
so you go out and buy another $30 controller.
I don't know how you'd actually break like a PlayStation 5 controller. They're so sturdy, it's ridiculous.
I know. Yeah, I haven't broken any PS5 controllers, thank God.
They're also like $100.
Super duper expensive.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, speaking of PS5, the other game I'm looking forward to right now is Spider-Man 2.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could play Spider-Man 2.
Get a PS5,
Get a PS5, Jay.
I need to.
It's a business expense.
Yeah. You simply must.
Yeah. Can we write it off as a podcast expense if I buy a PS5?
No.
Yes.
I'm getting conflicting opinions.
Pick one of those answers, whichever one you like more.
Good luck.
I don't know. I like the idea of writing it off.
Good luck filing that business expense.
No, if we review games, you could file it probably as a business expense. But we'll discuss this off air.
Yeah, let's not reveal our tax evasion to everybody.
Our totally legit tax evasion.
When Jay like actually pitched this little like, I want to talk about a game, boys. Let's talk about games. And then I was kind of like, man, I have no idea what games are coming out at all. I'm so like, other than like when E3 or like these big things happen, I kind of don't pay attention to the gaming sphere because I'm just like I play like mostly like games that have been out for like 5 to 10 years already. So I kind of like I'll get hype about stuff, but then I'll kind of just like forget about it. It's just honestly like I have a goldfish memory as it is, and I just forget things quick. But like when you guys are saying like Armored Core and like Spider-Man and like all these cool games, like it's getting me hype right as we speak right now for these games.
No, I mean,
who needs E3?
We have lizard brains.
Nobody anymore.
Yeah. R.I.P. to another legend.
That one deserves a salute.
Yeah. We knew ye well.
Yeah.
I was going to say something, but then I forgot. So that's really cool.
You know what I've been playing a lot of too is the Pokemon trading card game on my computer. It's great. I love that because like, Jay, you and I play quite a bit of Weiss Schwarz. You play much more than Cole or I. Cole has still not rejoined the Weiss Schwarz sphere, I don't think.
Well, you ordered Bocchi the Rock cards.
I did order Bocchi the Rock cards.
The trial deck.
Wait.
That's going to be hype.
That is going to be hype.
The problem I have with Weiss Schwarz is sometimes I just can't physically make it to like the game night that they have like the Weiss Schwarz to play. So there's no option to play online in like a convenient way. So like for me to be able to fire up my phone or my computer and play like a couple matches of Pokemon trading card game is fantastic, and I like that a lot. All trading card games should have an online app. It's great. It's fantastic. Yeah. But then this new Charizard card came out and it like they gave it away for free in the app, and it's like a super strong card, and it just totally destroys the deck that I've always played with for like the last like 4 or 5 months. So now I'm reeling. I'm in the abyss.
Yeah. See,
I've lost like 12 straight. It's terrible.
For Pokemon TCG, I haven't gotten new Pokemon cards in a long time. So like my cards are completely outclassed. I don't think you can even use the old cards because of format changing.
Yeah, it's standard rotates. You only get like basically a year and a half. The nice thing about Pokemon, the app, is like it gives you free cards.
Okay.
So like realistically, and like if you go through the ladder and do your daily tasks, you can basically like get like 50-ish free booster packs of each new set.
Yeah.
So it's basically free to play, and then you can buy the codes and scan them in for like 10 cents a code. So it's quite affordable.
Yeah. Or you buy the packs and scan the anyway. Sorry.
We go on and on about Pokemon cards, but I want to say one thing before we move on to the mailbag. The next segment, mailbag segment. This is breaking news, and I feel like I need to inform the world about it because Jay just reminded me that I ordered Bocchi the Rock Weiss Schwartz cards, and I was shown this collaboration by my co-host Mike. And it literally is my dream collaboration. Bocchi the Rock anime kicks off a new sneaker collab with Adidas and ABC Mart. Have you guys seen these shoes?
They are fly as heck.
These are fly AF. Listen, I'm an Adidas guy. These are, what are these called? Front Street? Park Street. Park Street.
Yeah, Park Street.
The line of shoes, and they are very nice.
I might get a set of Park Street shoes, actually, like that. They're very nice looking. Yeah.
They're quite nice, and they
not these ones though.
Well, I mean, these ones are nice as well, but
they're nice. Impossible for us to obtain is the problem.
Impossible for us to obtain, and I have a feeling they're women's shoes. But there are men's Park Street shoes, which kind of look like the Rio shoes. They're just black with the white sole.
Okay.
So it is achievable, but I just wanted to let everybody know I love shoes, I love Adidas, and I love Bocchi the Rock. So take my money, please.
You've like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's Cole's favorite series with like the only brand of shoes I've ever seen Cole wear that are like not dress shoes.
I have a pair of Pumas.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Believe me, it is true. I have seen them. Believe it indeed.
Okay. It's time for the mailbag.
Thank you, Michael, for introducing the mailbag. That's very nice of you to do that every week live on the air.
You're welcome.
Yes. We've got to pay. I have a tough time saying this every week. Patron priority mailbag wee woo from Super Mexi. He sent this on August the 7th. He wants to know, and this is a very contentious topic, what is the best anime moment of all time? Some of mine are Erwin's last charge speech, Black Bull's pulling up on Langris, and Tsukishima's awakening in season 3 of Haikyuu. I only know the Erwin one there.
Okay.
Please tell me more.
The Attack on Titan has so many great moments, so I'll just kind of gush a little bit there. Like when, you know what? It's hard to talk about them because that dang show is like all spoilers.
Like, I know, but you know,
it's kind of like we were talking with Fight Club, right?
Let me say a not necessarily big spoiler that is hype is in season 3? That opening like chase between Levi and those other people through the city. Yeah. Oh my god, that's so like.
You've probably seen like a AMV or like one of those TikTok like anime edits of it because it's like it didn't take them like 6 months to do the animation for that.
Yeah, and that was Wit too, and they were like that was full on like
that was Wit
animation.
Yeah. I'll go full on shonen fan here and say probably like one of the most hype moments. What was it? Iconic or hype moments? What was the question?
Just best moments. Moments. It can be iconic, can be hype, can be emotionally charged.
I think in Naruto, I don't normally talk much praise for Naruto, but like for me, the peak of Naruto is like when in the Pain fight, when Naruto starts going like berserk and like starts taking down Pain. Mm-hmm. That's pretty sweet. Like I remember watching like edits of that like before I even got into anime. I'm like, this looks sweet. Like this is cool.
You know what's sweet about that one is when Naruto shows up at like the like last possible moment and he's in like Sage mode.
Yeah.
That's hype.
Yeah. And he's on like the big giant toad.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like that whole
Naruto's
thing.
hype, Jay.
Yeah, Naruto.
Look at how hype that is.
Look, man.
The thing is,
I've only read the manga, so like
was it hype when you read it?
It was decent. I don't know.
You need that music.
Yeah.
This was a post One Piece world, so like I held it up against One Piece because it's another one of the big three, and One Piece was just so much more hype for me. Like, for example, when Luffy puts his hat on Nami, and
that's
and like
that's up there.
She first asks him to help her.
You will see that in the One Piece live action. That's apparently like one of like the pivotal scenes in it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's big news.
Yep.
Apparently, it might be good.
I mean, it looks like there's a lot of passion put into it, which, like, hey, if it is good, I'm happy. I'm not going to complain.
I will.
Cole will definitely hate it. I don't think it's going to be like the best thing people have seen. I think it'll just be like good, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to get us off topic.
We
are talking about best anime moments.
Best anime moments.
Yeah. I mean, like in terms of iconicness, I mean, you gotta include Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I mean, speaking of,
that's really better. That or Luffy going Gear 5.
Shut up.
It's Goku going Super Saiyan. I'm sorry. I'm a One Piece fan, but it's Goku going Super Saiyan.
Or the Akira slide, like the.
Yeah.
Well, that scene is done.
Jay are Akira haters, so
I know, but it's so iconic.
It's such an iconic thing that you have to acknowledge it, regardless of whether or not you love Akira.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the Major like falling out of that building in Ghost in the Shell, and then she like covers up her face and she turns invisible.
Mm-hmm. I can't picture it. I'm not a Ghost in the Shell guy.
If I showed you it, you'd be like, "Oh, that scene. I know that scene."
We'll get this one, but Jay might not. Is like in every Gundam series, there's always the scene when like the Gundam is first revealed, and it like just like a crazy action shot, and then it shows the Gundam, and like then all of a sudden like the horns on it kind of flash, like you know how they always have like the gold V on the top. I always get I go berserk.
The best one of that is Unicorn.
Yeah,
when it like transforms and then it like strikes that pose.
Oh yeah, you know what? Just purely the Unicorn Gundam transformations are always like I could watch that over and over. It's awesome.
You know me, I love gushing about March Comes In Like a Lion, but that scene where Hina is like being defiant about standing up to those bullies when she's like crying, it's great.
Jay, I feel
Kana
like
Hanazawa did a great job on acting in that one.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly, while you guys are talking, I'm just like spending all my time trying to think of scenes.
If we're filing through the Rolodex.
If we're talking about Supermax, you mentioned Haikyuu, and for me, one of my favorite moments is like the final point in Karasuno versus Shiratorizawa.
Yeah.
Just that last point. I think it's like it was tied up. Karasuno was like kind of against the ropes because the one guy, forget his name, Ushijima, I think, is like he's overpowering all of them, and they all work together and finally get that final point on them, and it was just so hype.
We need to get Cole into sports anime, because sports anime truly has like some of the most hype moments, honestly.
I've thought about watching Haikyuu. I just hate volleyball.
Yeah, Haikyuu is really good, but watch like one of the basketball ones.
Honestly, Kuroko's Basketball season 3, when the guy with the red hair is introduced, I'm trying to...
I am about to start season 3.
Okay. I'm not gonna get into it, but when he's introduced, I thought his thing is like so cool.
Yeah, watching Kuroko's Basketball right now, and there's so many hype moments in that show.
So
like,
that shows
it's so
like
sweet.
when them versus Aomine was so hype.
Oh yeah. When like every time they reveal like one of their quote unquote powers, it's just awesome too.
Yeah.
Any
there's
more?
gotta be lots more.
Should we?
I have one more, but I want to give Jay some space here.
No. Go ahead. I still gotta. I'm still.
Okay.
Well,
I'm still.
We've only got time for one more. So
Okay. Mike, go ahead.
Okay, I'll throw one out. One last one. I think we could probably all three agree on, and that's when Ash frickin' dies in Pokemon the first movie.
Oh yes, yes.
And then all the Pokemon bring him back with the power of tears. That movie, and friendship. That scene as a child hit so hard, and like if you were, we should review that movie. Honestly,
we should review that movie.
Maybe a good patron review or something.
That would be good. That's a good one. Good
That's
idea,
a good
Michael.
scene. Like that. That as a child, like awokened things in me. I don't know what it did, but yeah.
I didn't know this when I was a kid, but I learned this when I got older. It's Dan Green that's voicing Mewtwo, the same voice as Yugi, or
oh really,
the Pharaoh from Yu-Gi-Oh.
That checks out actually.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds similar, yeah.
And one of my favorite lines in that movie is like after that all happened, and Mewtwo's like, I see now that the circumstance of one's birth are irrelevant. It's what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
heavy stuff.
I love when anime just drops like super heavy philosophical lines on you out of like in the most unexpected places. Madoka Magica had a few good ones too. Just teasing the second half a little bit. Tease.
Okay, regular mailbag from Devin. What is your most cringe anime memory? Mine was that I thought Elfen Lied was capital A art because I was an Edgelord Supreme trademark.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Like not it just seems like one of those shows that people watch and like that at a certain point in their either anime career or lives, and then they just like kind of like Jay said when we're reviewing Guilty Crown, where it's like
just about to bring that up.
Yeah,
like that I'm 15 and this is deep.
Yeah. Elfen Lied gives me those vibes for sure. I need to watch it though, so I can't really.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely like edgy AF, but it was fine. Guys got cringy anime moments?
No, I'm not cringe, bro.
He says cringely.
As I say gosh and golly gee on this dang podcast all the time.
I thought Kirito and Asuna were the best couple ever and were the true definition of love when I was younger.
Pinnacle of romance.
Of romance.
That
Romeo and Juliet, eat your heart out.
Ouch. That one hurts me, Jay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't know. Ugh. Hey, we're airing our dirty laundry here.
That's fair.
I mean,
fair.
hey, you asked for cringe. I'm giving you cringe.
I mean, this is a judgment-free zone. Please.
I'm trying to think like because the thing is like I don't really get particularly embarrassed, so it's hard for me to like think of what's. Can you guys think of things that I've done that are cringe? Because I don't really get like that secondhand embarrassment about. Like,
I don't know. Like, I say this all the time to everybody at all times. Anime is cringe.
Yeah, well, I think just like
I love it for that aspect of it because like it takes all kinds to love anime. You know, we've got the like closet anime fans, and you've got the like real in your face ones. I don't know, cringiest. I don't know when my brother walked in on me watching the toothbrush scene for the first time from Monogatari. And him, Cody Bot of all people, going like, "What is this?"
And he's a pretty like liberal person, right? Like,
he's a certified weirdo.
Yeah, he's a robot for sure, right? Like, yeah. Probably my cringiest thing is that I genuinely enjoy dubs, maybe, and a lot of people find dubs cringe.
It's pretty cringe,
and
bro.
I'll stand up for dubs. I think the thing that a lot of people don't like about dubs is they reveal how cringy anime can be because it's in your own language and you just understand it better. And I don't think people like to hear that, but that's just kind of a hot take that I have.
For me, the reason like I prefer sub is because like when dub actors do it, and no discredit to the dub actors, I know they're doing the best they can, but like it sounds like 30-year-olds trying to be kids.
And like, also they try to do like the noise, anime noises like the and it just doesn't work in English. It just doesn't work.
Not quite, not as good. No.
It's just kind of that lost in translation thing.
Yeah. The best dubs are ones like Madoka Magica here, where it takes the source material and adapts it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty tame. I mean, I'll stand by K-On! Has the best dub of all time.
Code Geass is a pretty good dub.
Code Geass does have a good dub.
I've never heard you guys compliment dubs before. Can you guys tell me some more of your cringy moments though?
Starting an anime podcast, definitely be up
Very
there.
cringe.
Giving Guilty Crown a 10 out of 10, thinking it was super deep.
Yeah, that's pretty cringe. Yeah. I have a feeling that there's a few of my early shows that I've watched that I'm going to come to regret too.
Anything about Inuyasha, Mike?
Anything you'd like to share about Inuyasha?
No, I don't know. It's good for what it is, really. Like I don't have any cringy takes on it. I'm like, this is a bad question for me. I tell you, I don't get embarrassed easily.
Mike is impervious to the cringe. You heard it here first, folks.
I embrace the cringe. I was molded by it, born in it.
Mike has no sense of cringe, and therefore, one who has no sense of cringe is truly
cringe.
Yeah, the cringiest of us all.
Incredibly cringe.
Now, let's move from one cringe topic to the next cringe topic, where we nominate our tsunderes for the upcoming competition. I will lead off the charge here by nominating a little-known tsundere called Kagami Hiragi from Jay's favorite show, Lucky Star.
Okay.
You're lucky we're on the podcast and I can't do the thing I want to do. Oh, wait, we do this all the time.
Yeah, we do it all the time. There you go. And Jay, thank you for that. Now, for that comment player tonight, you're going one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Oh, thank you.
And please tell me...
That's actually what I really wanted, to go one-on-one with The Undertaker.
But first, you have to tell me what your tsundere is.
My tsundere is, and I feel like this was coming, Nino Nakano from Quintessential Quintuplets.
Ooh, that's a tasteful tsundere.
Very good tsundere.
Tsundere is just a tasteful trope.
Yes. Now, Michael.
All my homies love tsunderes, and all my homies love my tsundere. I'm going to go with the tsundere, the original, the one that most people think of as the original anyway, even though it's not really. I'm going to go with Asuka Langley Soryu from Neon Genesis Evangelion.
You know
How do you get more tsundere than
How do you get more tsundere than that? Because that was going to be my nomination, but I figured somebody would probably nominate her.
I was worried that you would, and I was kind of scrambling to come up with another one off the top of my head.
I've already got a second one for next week.
Yeah,
to be honest.
There's lots. Yeah.
There's lots of tsunderes.
There are a lot, yeah.
Let's name all the tsunderes.
Let's go. You like tsunderes, Michael? Name all the tsunderes.
Okay, Taiga. Naru Sakawa from Love Hina. Noelle Silva from Black Clover.
We're going to listen to Mike list all of the tsunderes through this whole break.
Well, I list the PS5.
Yui
yes. Anyway, well, I say
Kaguya Shinamina from
break.
Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Break.
Sagiri Amino from Nino the Haunted Hot Springs.
Welcome back to the Anime Protagonist Podcast. We're back. We're here. We're ready. We're in review mode. It's time to get serious, boys. Are you guys ready? I already said we're ready. I don't know why I'm asking you. We're obviously ready. We are reviewing the 2011 anime by the studio Shaft, known as Puella Magi Madoka Magica, after you, the listener, voted it as our listener choice review.
Thank you so much for voting.
Thank you so much for voting. We appreciate you. We appreciate a lot of things, but mostly our listeners.
Mostly you.
Mostly you, specifically.
Specifically, you.
You.
You know who you are. You.
Yeah, we see you.
Yeah.
We see you.
We're looking right at you.
Yeah, this show is a show, an anime. In our script here, if you will, it says that someone is supposed to explain the review structure. So at this point, this is where one of us explains the review structure, I suppose. Where we
had like a main host that.
If only we had like a main host who's
figuring
like,
out how the
Yeah, so basically, the way that we do reviews is we try to go over spoiler-free to begin. So we'll talk about, the setup, who's it for, ED, OP, all of that good stuff. Then we have a major spoiler warning. We always warn you before we go into spoilers. At which point we'll dive deeper into the plot, talk about some twists and turns that happen through the show, and then we'll grade the show based on our patented. We do that before the spoiler review now. The spoiler warning. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so our rating system is a little bit different than most places. Most places would do a 1 out of 10 or a 1 out of 5. We do the protagonist being the best, antagonist being the worst, which is really ultimately it's a 1 out of 5. So we just like to be weirdos, and we like to be different.
We're extra, and we are stupid.
We are built different, as they say. But the first thing that we like to do in our reviews is predict what our co-hosts thought of it. So I want to start with Michael. Why don't you predict what Jay and I thought of the show?
Okay, well, to be fair, I already know what me and Cole think of this show because we've both watched
I think
it before,
all three of us know what the two of you think of this show.
Yeah, like it's almost, I feel like we've raved on air about liking this show
I feel like it's more really interesting to guess what I think of the show because I'm the only one who hadn't seen it before today.
It's like it's a travesty you haven't seen it until today. I will say that.
Yes, and literally today you finished it.
I finished it today.
Yes, I mean, that's on brand. That's on normal Jay stuff. Yeah,
and I mean, peek behind the curtain, our famous segment. Peek behind Annie Pro's curtain.
Lift the kimono, Cole.
Lift the kimono, if you will. We were supposed to record yesterday. We postponed recording to today, and
Happy
Jay
Monday,
took full
everyone.
advantage of that. Mm-hmm. Happy Monday.
Honestly, it was at the mercy of Jay. So you know what? That was his gift, is he had an extra day to watch the show.
Yeah, and if we had reviewed it yesterday, I also would have just finished it today. So, yeah.
You know what? Anyway, Jay, I think it's one of those ones where he sees the merit of the show, but maybe it's just not like his cup of tea.
What about me?
Kind of like Odd Taxi. I think Cole loves the show. Yeah.
Well, I think I'll predict the thoughts here.
Okay.
Jay, I think Jay liked it. I think with a show like this, Jay's the resident edgy boy on the podcast.
That's the thing that might push it into the like tier, is if it was in the right vein of edgy for him.
And I feel like Jay. I think Jay would have enjoyed it. I mean, not to spoil my thoughts on it, but like this is a show where I would really struggle to find fault with. And as for Michael, Mike, I think didn't really like the show that much. Yeah. And really, really wants to take it out on the listeners for forcing him to watch this one.
Yeah.
Jay, what do you think we thought?
Well, this was probably the most difficult prediction we've ever done for the show, because you guys are complete enigmas when it comes to Madoka Magica.
Ignoramuses, if you will.
Yeah. Doofuses.
Stupid idiots.
Losers.
Which is why I am predicting that you both absolutely hate this show. Like, I'm not talking like, oh yeah, this isn't for me. I'm talking like, I'm gonna go on, I'm gonna go on a Reddit and post like a 8,000 word essay on why this show is terrible. Kind of.
Well,
I don't
you
like
saw
this
my
show.
essay?
You saw our essays that we co-wrote?
Yeah, that's why I'm making this prediction.
Mike and I wrote our review essay ghost style. Like, I had my arms wrapped around him typing. Yeah.
Oh, I think you're talking like you had a ghost writer do it under under
he's
your
referencing
name,
like a 1990s.
No. I know it. I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I before we reveal our actual thoughts, listen, we're having a good time here. But stop, because it's time. I forgot that it's my duty to reveal our next review.
What's the show even about, Cole?
No. Next review before we reveal our thoughts. I just want to drop some hints for everybody, and then they will guess up until the end of the review, where I will reveal our next review. It's a 12-episode show. It is from Studio Tezuka Productions. It's based on a manga. Came out in 2021, July.
Recent.
somewhat recently. And my last hint would be I selected it because its next season is actually coming out next season. So that's all the hints for you guys. It's probably enough. I'm sure people will get it.
People are smarter than me. I'm just I can never like put the hints together in like live time. And it's
Rising of the Shield Hero season 2.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You're supposed to.
Oh, it's Pluto.
Okay. Predict co-host.
It's Puella Magi Madoka Magica season 3.
Shut up. It's time for me to explain the background of this show. It's a pretty famous show. Like I said, it's by Studio Shaft. The whole concept of it is, it turns out magical girls are real. And they become magical girls by forming contracts with this cute little cat-like thing. And they battle witches, which are kind of like paper mache. The art in the show is really one of the standout features. I mean, what could possibly go wrong in this situation? It's just a colorful, cutesy show by Studio Shaft. Yeah, it's great.
It's one of those shows where it disarms you because you kind of watch it at first and you're like, oh, it's just like your typical magical girl stuff. It's cute and stuff. And like, it looks very like 2000s magical girl shoujo stylings. And then it like completely subverts all the tropes and just like rips everything you thought you knew and just destroys it.
It's coming in from the top rope. It's giving you the people's elbow. It's giving you some sweet chin music. You're in for a wild ride in this show.
This show is a very interesting take on the mahou shoujo genre.
Oh, definitely.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely a subversion of the genre for sure.
Yeah.
And this one, like regardless, as if you're digging like the first episode or whatever, like this one you must watch 3 episodes because you simply must, because if you're not digging it after the 3rd episode, then you're free to drop it. But if you start it and watch 1 or 2 episodes and not the 3rd, you kind of won't get it. Like,
I think
that's where it really
by episode 3, that's when you get an idea of what the show's basically going to be about.
I mean, who's this show for? You guys, who like, is this for the magical girl fan, or is this for somebody who
I think it's for
isn't?
I think this show is built for someone like me, honestly. Like, I'm a guy who enjoys dark fantasy. Like if you like Berserk, if you like Devilman Crybaby, if you like dark stories that are not necessarily like happy all the time and they make you question things about the world that like surrounds you and all sorts of, just basically make you ask questions about everything. That's what this show is. And if you also do have like that little bit of like an affection for like the magical girl tropes and like and styles and stuff, you're gonna like this as well. Like that's
kind of what I mean. Like it kind of transcends in terms of who it's for.
It's kind of for everyone almost.
It's for people who like magical girl stuff. I mean, like obviously not little kids, but if you grew up watching it, then you'd probably like it.
I would say that if it's not really for the faint of heart.
No.
If you're adverse to that kind of like dark, gritty kind of subject matter, this isn't for you.
It has a reputation as kind of that.
Yeah.
Its main selling point is that it subverts the genre norms.
And I think it's notorious enough in being like, if you only come to anime and you want comf and hype,
oh no!
This is not for you. If you're like in a play, if you're in like a bad place and you want to feel good when watching a show, like when Cole watches March Comes In Like a Lion, or you watch some like sweet like moe bullcrap or something, that's exactly the opposite vibes of this. This will hurt you. This show will hurt you.
There's a lot of crying teenage girls.
There's a reason. There's a reason. There's a psychological tag on AniList.
Yes.
Yeah. Ask yourself this before watching this. Do I enjoy magical girls? Okay. Do I like being hurt deeply inside? Yes. Do I like watching 12-year-old girls have horrible things happen to them? You can answer yes or no to that last one, because either way, that's what this show's about. But,
yeah. So, like, we talked
just
about
just for the cold open. My two co-hosts enjoyed child girls get tortured and loved it. Child
little girls.
Jalen just snuck a little line in there.
Child humans.
My co-hosts enjoyed little girls get tortured.
See what happens, Jay? You try to make a joke to tease
try to
us.
set us up.
Try to set us up.
Try to set us up.
You can't do it though.
See, the reason is because I am socially awkward. Cheers, boys.
Yes. The sole socially awkward one.
Yeah, on a podcast hosted by anime weebs. Yeah.
An idiot. So, like, I hesitate to kind of discuss how the show is a subversion of the tropes.
We can't get too deep into it. I agree.
But I feel like going back to Mike's thing about spoilers and in media, the show came out in 2011. It has a reputation for doing this. I feel like the big spoiler is towards the end, because there is a big spoiler.
Yes.
Yeah.
That kind of like unties why certain characters are doing what they do.
What's basically everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm. Whereas the dark and gritty nature of the show, I feel like, is well known enough where we can freely talk about it.
I don't know if you need to talk about specific stuff, but
you can also kind of get the vibe of the dark nature just from the tone of the show in general.
I mean, I think the show does a good job in the first couple episodes, of keeping it pretty light. There's action scenes for sure, but
the opening sequence where with Madoka, like literally the first shot you see in the show where Madoka and Homura are like battling and whatever, it kind of does a good job of just showing you right then that like this is not necessarily like fun. Maybe
you're not watching Card.
You're not watching Sailor Moon.
Yeah, it tells you enough. Yeah. I think that's why they included that little like dream thing there, is just to kind of give you like, listen, we know what this looks like, but here's something just to tell you it's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
Off the hop.
The music in this show is top tier.
Yeah, no, I really like the soundtrack of this show.
Yeah. I love one thing I do want to say before we get into the OP is just with regards to music, because the ED is what is initially an insert song and then becomes the ED of the show. And I love how the show flips the ED on you at the point where the show reveals its true colors.
I think that's a very intentional thing too. I
think 100% it is. And it
absolutely
is.
The first ED that they show is very like magical girl, right? Like it's very like positive and kind of almost like happy. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, this is the real ED now.
Yeah, the bad thing happens, and then you get dropped into like just this darkness in the ED. And I love that ED. I love that second ED. It's so simple, but it's so cool,
It does a good job of capturing the tone of the show, which I think the show in general does a good job of capturing the tone that they're looking for. With its
the direction's fantastic.
The direction, which I mean, it's our boy, it's our boy Akiyuki Shinbo.
Yeah, it's your boy. We're getting head tilts. We're getting head tilts in this one.
Watching this, like there were so many head tilts, and I just kept thinking of Cole and his affliction for head tilts.
I mean, this is Shaft at its finest too. Like just writing, voice acting, editing, direction. It's
a well-made show.
Well-made show with a well-made OP. I love the OP in this show for the simple reason that it works before the tonal shift and also after the tonal shift. It
kind of does it all. Yeah,
they toe the line, and it works either way, whichever way that you're viewing the show.
I do agree, but like as an OP itself, I'm not really the biggest fan. I like the first shot of the OP, where she's like in that like kind of like sea, or whatever.
It's raining,
and it's raining. But like the OP in general, it's all right.
You know what, Jay? I'll actually kind of agree with you on that. I will echo you on that, because I truly think that like the OP. It's when I think of this OP, there's only like really a couple things that I think are like truly awesome in it. And it's just like that like main hook of the song. that main melody just gets so stuck in your head, and it's so iconic, and it just instantly makes you think of Madoka Magica. But like on a whole, like this song's not making it on my Annie song playlist. You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that it is. I don't know. It's a good OP.
It is a good OP. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's not. It's a great Madoka Magica OP. Is to borrow a line from Jay. But I just don't see myself ever really, unless I'm like, I kind of crave a little bit of Madoka Magica. I'm never like looking this one up on YouTube and watching it. I'm never going to listen to this song on its own, really.
I could watch the OP. I know what you're saying about the song, but I mean the
I'm
OP
not even really rating it as the song. When I commented on me thinking that it's just okay, I was looking at the OP as a whole, and like it does have its
visuals are kind of.
It does have its like cool moments. Like I said, I like the first shot, but it doesn't really do anything.
The weird shots of like Madoka like just doing kind of like zany activities in the background too is just kind of like, I don't really care about that. I don't know.
I like that. Like she's daydreaming about what it should be like to be a magical girl, and then like as the show progresses, it makes more sense that she's like crying through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you think it's just because she's embarrassed, quirky maho shoujo show, but no, she's crying because it's not a very fun thing that they're being involved in.
Yeah.
So it really like unfolds itself. Also, the lyrics by the end of the show, like for the final ED, it plays the OP song, and you're reading the lyrics along with it, and you're like, oh, these are very meaningful towards the end.
That's one thing is I when I watch shows, I try not, especially for reviews, I try not to like read the lyrics until I'm getting like near the end of the show, because a lot of the times like the lyrics usually fit the show very well and can like really put a lot of like emphasis on the show. Like
both the OP and ED, like they are clearly there for a reason, right? Like, and I'm not here to say that like, they serve no purpose, they're terrible, but
no,
if you were to ask me, are they the best things I've ever seen for an OP and ED?
I would agree with you, Jay. Yeah. And then I do appreciate when the ED changes up too. That's a cool thing.
Yes. I do like when that happens in shows, so I did appreciate that.
There is a third ED in the show as well.
Yeah.
You guys picked up on it. That's
it happens
a little spoilery.
Episode 10, I believe.
Yeah, it's a little spoilery, so maybe we'll...
It's very spoilery. Even.
But there is a third ED. We'll just say that. And it works, I think.
I mean, it's literally just like a still shot of something and then like a different song.
Yeah, but...
Yeah.
You know, you got to meaning in for
there's kind of like more of a meaning behind it, which like I get. But yes, Mike, I do.
In context.
Yes, it do hit different. Sound and animation. I mean, I've already kind of gushed a little bit about the animation in this show. I love Shaft. It's a well-known piece of lore on this podcast. I love Shaft, and like I said, this is quintessential Shaft. This and like Monogatari are like peak Shaft for me.
I think when you say you love Shaft, Cole, which also is a hilarious thing to say to somebody that you love Shaft.
I do.
I know.
I love Shaft.
It's just a funny sentence.
What?
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's just a funny sentence. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
I don't get it.
When you say that, I think you should actually caveat that as I love this era of Shaft, because I don't think this is the same, like the show, like that Quentin's OVA that's coming out right away. That's not the same thing as this era of Shaft.
No, it's not. And that's what I mean.
I think it's more like he likes the influence of Akiyuki Shinbo and the people that worked with him on Monogatari.
This is quintessential Shaft is what I'm saying. Like this is Shaft at their finest. Their peak. Their
magnum opus.
Their magnum opus. I didn't want to call it their magnum opus because that's pretty
pretentious.
No, I mean, I would argue this could be their magnum opus.
I'd say it's Monogatari personally.
But then there's Monogatari, yeah. But I would put this on par with Monogatari in terms of just its uniqueness in what it does.
I haven't finished Monogatari, so I feel like maybe I'm biased in that way. But like I greatly prefer this to Monogatari. And maybe that's a hot take. I don't know, but
I don't know. I can understand that. Monogatari is a very involved show. You need to be paying attention to
it's a lot more dialogue heavy than this show.
And this show has a dub.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a problem with the sub of Monogatari, but the other thing I like that this show is like a tight story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just very tight. And
very tight.
We talked about the sound, and I think this show, you can't really go through this show without mentioning the sweet like insert music that this show has too.
Oh, it's great.
Like, the OP and it's on par with the OP and ED, and like you said, like the ED is basically an insert song, and it tricks you for a little while. And like the theme, the witches, the music when they go into the witches' dens and stuff is like, it's awesome. It's like a sweet little like tribal vibe with like a bit of techno, and like it's clearly the sound when they go into the witch's den kind of clues you into that this is not pleasant. This is not necessarily something to be underestimated, and it just feels uncomfortable, and it puts you on guard a little bit.
Yeah, and the witches, the mazes is probably what I would like where you're talking about Monogatari versus this show in terms of magnum opus. I mean, this show is so creative
everybody's so creative.
It's just like I think the compositing is just really well done. Like, I mean, you have
incredible.
Have like the like the layers of like one character's art style versus like the regular art style of the main cast, and them on different planes being like fighting each other, and that's all interesting in like a world of like a different art style, and like it's all really well done, I think.
And like all of the art styles are like unique and interesting, and still like they all work and are great. Like it's really great job by Shaft and Cole's boy there.
Yeah. Technically, in technical terms, the show's really well done.
Yeah. I can already tell a little bit. Jay's like trying to dance around his true feelings a little bit, like his emotional feelings by
I'll get to it.
You can see the hints, you can see the cracks forming here.
I'll get to it.
Yeah.
I will say the world building in this is good. I won't go too deep into the world building because I feel like the major world building is
massive spoiler.
Massive spoiler, but it does a good job of it because it comes out of nowhere. But
it does, but not in a bad way. The hints are there, but you couldn't have solved this mystery before the reveal.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But like it all makes sense when it is revealed.
It makes sense when it is revealed.
Jay, there's no way you predicted like the big ending twist.
Yes, I did.
No way.
I did. No. Episode 3, I predicted it.
Not that one.
No. We'll talk about that in. How many episodes before dropping would you binge this or nah? Again, I'd say I would go one further than you guys. I would give it to episode 4. When the tone changes, and then you need that extra episode in the new tone to kind of get your feet.
That's valid.
Your footing. And I would think that this is a great binge, to be honest. It
absolutely is.
It's very good with the cliffhangers at the end of the episodes. Jay, what say you? How many episodes?
I'd say 3. Because I think like if you once you have the idea of what this show is going to be about, you'll have an idea of whether or not it's for you.
Yeah.
Especially like because of how episode 3 ends, it kind of gives you an idea of the kind of imagery that this show is going to present as well.
Yeah. Like by the end of episode 3, you kind of have the whole picture of like kind of what to expect, I would say. And for that reason, I'd stick with the 3. I think it'd be very hard if you're digging the show to not watch the 4th episode, and then probably also the 5th and 6th and 7th and continuing on. But like I could see someone watching 2 and dropping it, and then you'd like try talking to them about the show, and they're like, "What are you talking about?"
What do you mean? I just wasn't in the mood for a Sailor Moon copy.
Yeah, it was too
Sailor Moony, and I just couldn't.
You have permission to strike them in the nose.
Strike them down in furious anger.
Yes. Well, let's talk about characters. So, I mean, any standout characters to you guys? I mean, I really like how even the characters themselves are kind of inversions of what you expect. You've got your, your main girl, Genki girl kind of thing, but she's also kind of not really knowing where she should be in her life. So she's kind of a little bit depressed about that.
Yeah.
You've got, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think it's key to mention here too, that like, these are 8th graders, right? Like they're like 12-year-olds. Like they are.
I think they're 14.
I think they're 14.
I don't know. Yeah. Maybe the age has got.
They're
mixed
middle
up
schoolers.
There.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're very young. Like it is almost important to remember that like when the backstories and like the characters here are revealed, they are like literal children, right? Like. And I really enjoy all the characters. Definitely some of the honestly, every character kind of stands out in their own way. And I do like the way that their stories kind of made sense and then they kind of like develop naturally.
Yeah.
Probably the standout for me, we talked about tsunderes, is the tsundere, Miss Red Hair there.
But then she's
awesome.
Like, again, like all of the characters are kind of a microcosm of the show itself, right? The tsundere, for example, she's a tsundere, but she's also kind of like the biggest softie in the group.
Well, that's how tsunderes are, Cole.
I know, but it's great.
And then Madoka's kind of like a Genki ripoff of Shinji too. She's the Genki girl, but then also she's kind of like trying to find herself, and it's so. I love this show, guys. I love it. I love it. Spoilers.
You do? I couldn't tell.
Yeah. I couldn't tell. Jay, what did you think of the characters? Let's get to the dirt here.
Yeah.
Let's dig.
Yeah, let's get
all
down
right.
dirty.
I loved Homura. I thought she was a great character.
You would love Homura. Of course you did. Yeah, that's oh wow, big surprise there.
Shocking. Jay loves the kudere. Love it.
Yeah. Oh wow. No, Homura is great though.
Yeah,
she only gets better through the show.
Yes. Personally, no, well, I'll get into that in spoilers. You know what? I'll get into that in spoilers, but
one thing is supposedly the sequel movie has I've seen that if you're a Homura fan, Jay, the sequel movie is like mandatory watching.
I really want to watch the sequel movie. There's 3 movies. The first 2 are basically recap movies, and then there's a third movie that continues on.
Yeah.
I want to watch it. Michael, get on it.
I have it.
Good.
Yeah, I have all
Perfect.
3. The movies the first 2 are recap movies, but they're with all new animation and voice acting.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the animation is like
basically they brotherhooded it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really.
Yeah.
How does it get better?
I don't know if it gets better, but it's just different.
They clean it up.
I'd say. Yeah.
Well, character design, I mean,
Jay was talking about Homura though. Sorry, I cut him off.
Well, no, he said he didn't want to go into it too deep because he wanted to save it for spoilers. I mean, the character designs in the show are iconic. Again, like Kyubey is kind of that perfect amalgamation of the cutesy like
there's always like the
cat from Sailor Moon, the
cat from
Luna.
Sailor Moon, whatever his name is from Cardcaptor, Sakura.
I do not remember a pet from Cardcaptors, but that's just because
the little yellow dude.
Oh,
I have not
Kiro.
Kiro, thank you, Kiro.
I have no idea, no clue. I'm thinking of what in Inuyasha. There's one too.
He's like Kirara. A little pixie boy, kind of.
No.
Little pixie boy.
Are you talking about Cole?
Wow.
Yeah, the characters are great. What were we just talking about?
I mean, character designs. Kyubey is just he's just weird enough where you're
off-putting a little bit.
You're a little on edge about him. He's always smiling. He's got those beady eyes. He looks like Michael.
He seems very like
beady eyes.
Calculating and cold, and it just feels off when he talks. Like the way he talks feels very alien a little bit. And it's just very like an interesting choice, right?
Yeah. I do want a Kyubey plush though.
I do want. We at Icon this year. I bought a Madoka figure because it's like, when do you ever see a Madoka Magica figure? First of all, and it's her holding Kyubey, and I'm like, oh, this is like literally perfect. This is great.
It's perfect. It's great. It's the perfect thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we have much to say other than that. Do you guys have any final thoughts? And why don't we rate it before we go into spoilers?
My last thing I would like to point out is that this show, I watched it. Cole never asked me. He always asks me if I watched it sub or dub.
We need a drop for that.
We do need a drop for that. Maybe that could be it. That'd be a good, just you yelling that at me. I watched this one. I've watched it. This is my third watch of it. And all 3 times I've watched it dubbed. I did this time for the sake of the review, even though the dub has like a nice place in my heart, just because I've watched it several times that way. And that's early. When I watched it as an early anime fan, I watched it dubbed. The sub and dub in my mind are equivalent. I don't think there's really a strong argument to go either way in this one. They're both good, is what I would say.
I would agree. I've watched both. My first time watching it was subbed or dubbed. And then I watched it sub this time. I remember the dub being good. I'd have to go back and rewatch it, I think, so that I could put my patented cold cynicism on it. But I remember it being pretty good.
I think if people like, I think if you like or prefer subs, you're just gonna like the sub better for this one. But like, I don't think that there's like a glaring difference between them. That's just my 2 cents. What about Jay? Do you have any last thoughts before we reveal all our bests and ratings and stuff?
Yeah. I like the sub. I watched it subbed.
I know.
Yeah.
Jay would never.
Yeah, he would never lower himself to a filthy dub watcher.
But yeah. Aside from that, I think the rest I want to say about this show is just final thoughts and then rating. So
okay, Jay, let it loose.
Jay wants to get it over with.
Yeah, okay. Let it out, because we're gonna destroy you after this.
Literally.
I think that there are definitely people who would like this show, like Mike and Cole, can attest. This show does have its appeal. Do I think it's for everyone? Not necessarily. I think if you are, like I said, faint of heart, probably shouldn't watch this. And I could also see people think that this show's a bit too edgy.
And too edgy, Jason.
Too edgy. And if you're not one to enjoy shows with that kind of edge, probably not for you. That said, it does have its merits. It looks great, sounds great. And it does have an interesting story in there. So personally, I'd say it's a low end supporting.
Okay. The way you were talking, it sounded like you were gonna like be like, but personally, I thought it was dog water.
No, like okay.
You sound like a parent trying to like compliment their child's art.
I'm looking at this objectively, right? Who like the question I'm asking is who would enjoy this? Like I'm watching this show. What am I gonna tell people about this show to convince them to watch it or not to watch it? The spoiler thoughts are how I feel about it, but the spoiler free thoughts are should someone watch it?
You're saying
should they not? Will it do well for them?
Yeah.
So taking myself completely out of it, right?
But your rating factors in your enjoyment of the show, right?
Kind of. Yes and no.
You've stunned me. I don't know what to say to that.
Okay, well, Jay, you've given us a rating, but we need you to tell us who your best boy and best girls are.
Well, I'm a bit
Homura.
Homura for best girl. For best boy, I'm a bit I kind of don't really have a choice. So I will exercise my right to choose Kyubey.
Ah, yes, very good.
Okay, you know what? That's valid. Because is there more than one?
There's the other boy the girl Sayaka, or the boy that Sayaka did the thing to do the thing.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah.
I can't spoil it, man.
I know.
Mike, best boy.
Best boy is invalid option because there aren't any boys other than there's like literally like who do you even? I guess Kyubey. I'm gonna go Kyubey.
Yeah,
it's like wildly.
Mike, I'm glad you're exercising your choice to choose Kyubey.
I don't know.
Exercising your right to choose Kyubey.
If I could, I would abstain in this choice.
Reluctant choices of Kyubey. What about best girl, Mike?
Best girl. I kind of teased this earlier. I really enjoyed almost all of the characters in this show. Mm-hmm. I thought they all were compelling, and I thought they all had really interesting stories and cool character designs. But listen, boys, listen to me. I need to tell you something. I got a soft spot in my heart. I got a fever. And the only prescription is more tsundere. And that's why I'm going to go with tsundere. I forget her name right now. Red-haired girl.
Such a good girl that you forgot her name.
Listen, she's always eating something. And I
Kyoko
love...
Sakura.
Kyoko. That's it. Yes. And she's always eating something. And I love eating stuff. So she's on the same wavelength as me. And
do you like
good.
Food?
She's feisty. I do like food. She's just feisty, and I like a bit of feist in my tsundere. So that's why she's
Mike's favorite musical
girl.
Artist. Feist.
Yes.
Allow me to tell you my best boy, and I'm not going to be hesitant about this. I'm going Kyubey, wholeheartedly.
Cole's exercising is right.
Kyubey, best boy. Best girl. You know, like, you know me. You know me. I love my main girls. You know, Madoka's great. Actually, all of them are great. Sayaka's great. Kyoko's great. But I gotta go with Jay on this one. Homura, by the end of it, I feel like is the most...
She's the most compelling character out of all of them.
Compelling, yeah.
You can't go too much into it, obviously. But I think at the end of the day, this show probably could be called Homura Magica.
Yeah.
She's kind of... she's almost the main character. Like, it all kind of...
She's the driving force.
Yeah.
In the end.
And she definitely has the most complex story arc, I would say.
Yes.
Which is, yes.
Okay, Jay gave it a supporting. Mike, what do you rate this?
Now, Cole, me and Cole we spoiled each other a little bit on this, and I think this is a good time to have the conversation we had before Jay joined while we were waiting for Jay here. Mm-hmm. I previously had rated this one on my Annie list like an 8 out of 10, and I figured that was fair. And then when I eventually like redid my Annie list, I went and looked, and I think I bumped it up to like an 8.5. And I was like, I think that's fair. And now on my third rewatch of this show, I don't know, man. This might be a 10 for me. I don't know what I would change about this show. I don't know what there is for me not to like about this show. It's an easy protagonist for me. We'll see if I give it a 10 or if I chicken out and give it like a high 9 or something like that. But like, man, I freaking love this show. It's literally built perfectly for someone like me. I like that darkness that it has. I like the cutesy little magical girls. Like, listen, it has everything that I like in anime, all just slammed it. Shaft made him kith, and I like it. It's here for me. I'm here for it too. Now, Cole, what are your thoughts?
I mean, the whole show is about like opposing forces, right? It's about light and dark. It's about characters not being quite what they seem. It's deeper. I'd like to talk a bit more about Jay's assertion that it's too edgy, but I feel like we can talk about that post spoilers.
Because we're gonna have to use specific examples. And this show, before we get into the spoiler section, this show you don't listen to the spoiler section.
No,
unless you've seen the show, or if you don't want to watch Madoka Magica.
If you don't want to watch Madoka Magica, but I would say like give it. I would say give it the 4 episodes. My co-host would say give it the 3. But I would say
watch the whole thing is what I would say.
Well, sure, yeah. But I mean, if you've gotten to the point, but you're still interested in how it goes, then maybe listen to the spoilers. But I would say it's worth not being spoiled. That being said, I will also give this easy protagonist. This is a masterpiece. I have no other.
Do you echo my sentiments about like this? It's in like contention for like a 10 out of 10 in your mind too.
Oh, easy.
Okay, I just need some validation here because I feel crazy whenever I think about giving something a 10 out of 10, and I'm so scared to do it. But
like you said, and I don't want to like disclude Jay from this. Just Mike and I gushing about how much we like this show.
I mean, like again,
it's kind of gross. It's kind of gross.
I'm just looking at it from an objective point of view. Who would enjoy the show? I'll talk about my thoughts on the show in the spoiler section.
Yeah, I again, like you said, there's nothing in here that I would change. Nothing.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Literally nothing.
Okay, it's time. It's time for me to press this button.
Oh, wait.
For spoilers.
It's not time for spoilers.
Well, we can't do this to the people.
We've misled them, Cole. You're supposed to reveal the next review before we do the spoiler section.
Am I?
Yeah, that way because otherwise
that way
they tune out.
They leave,
well,
yeah.
If you stuck around through the spoiler drop, here we go. It's time for me to reveal our next review. Do you guys have any actual guesses? Do you guys?
I think we're gonna be watching Spy Family season 1. The episode where Lloyd takes a huge in his pants.
Yeah,
what?
That one. Okay, you guys already know what we're watching. We talked about it before. We're gonna watch Girlfriend, and I am so excited to force Michael. Girlfriend, Jay, get ready.
Girlfriend?
It's time.
Yo.
My trash. I love this anime. I loved this manga. I am so excited to force Michael in the old forcing to watch chair.
I like how you're only forcing Mike.
No, Jay, I know what you're here for.
Yeah, Jay's here for it. Yeah,
Jay, you and I have a shared love of trash, and it doesn't get much trashier than this.
True.
I'm
Played
so
a clip
excited.
where Cole says he only watches good stuff.
I only watch good stuff. I only watch good shows and Girlfriend.
Do you know what Cole's definition of good stuff is?
Girlfriend.
No, things Cole enjoys. If Cole likes it, it's good.
My taste is impeccable. Okay, so thank you for. I mean, it was a good thing you stuck it out through the spoiler drop. I mean, but this time, actually, though, like this is
for real.
This is for reals.
Yeah.
It's time for spoilers.
Spoilies. It's
to be fair,
spoily time.
To be fair, like I feel like probably this will be our highest watched review. People have watched it before. They presumably watched it for the podcast.
Yeah, and then we'll get a bunch of comments saying how like, oh, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That's valid. We don't.
We're going to get like a big paragraph explaining the complex intricacies of the story.
You know what? I hope we do, because like we got one on our Crest of the Stars review. Yeah. It was like a super long, detailed like breakdown of our review of it. And
that guy's been waiting decades. That guy's been waiting decades for somebody to review Crest of the Stars.
That guy goes to YouTube every week, looks up Crest of the Stars review on YouTube.
He's got a Google alert going.
Honestly, man, like I respect it. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's love. Honestly, like
that's amazing.
Yeah.
If you're still listening to our podcast somehow and you were the one who left that review, you're sweet. You're a sweet person. You're awesome.
Yeah, you are up there among.
It's a testament to how much it meant to us that we still talk about you all these weeks later.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Jay, why don't you tell us about how edgy this show is? How edgy the show is, so I can absolutely destroy your edgy take.
I'm gonna preface this by saying I didn't say that I thought it was edgy. I said I can understand why people would think it's edgy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, it is kind of edgy.
It is edgy. Like, I mean, there was that scene where what's her name? Sayaka is like killing that thing and she's laughing maniacally and being like, oh, I don't feel pain. Ha 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 ha.
It's a classic trope. Yeah.
And literally, and then it went straight into the ED. And literally when I watched that scene, I started laughing because I was like, this is so ridiculous.
She's having a mental breakdown.
Yeah, it was like a mental breakdown.
I know, but like I just like
she wasn't cackling because she's so powerful. She was cackling because she's like, I'm losing my mind.
Yes,
I'm dying inside.
I know, but still, like it still felt very, very edgy to me.
I think, Jay, this is a good show where like if you're not 100% along for the ride and you're not vibing with it, it just doesn't hit in the way it's supposed to. And like like that's a perfect example of it, where you're watching it and you're kind of like, if you're not like feeling what Sayaka's feeling and you're not vibing with it, that does come across as like stupid and silly.
I think that like a lot of that was how I felt. Like Madoka, for example, I had the same reaction to Madoka, and I wanted to mention this in our spoiler-free section, but I kind of forgot. I had a very similar reaction to Madoka that a lot of people had to Shinji in Evangelion, where they're like, just get in the robot.
It's kind of like, the point, though, right?
I know, but like it wasn't like get in the robot or like become a magical girl. It was more like pick something, stop being so indecisive. And like the point of it is that Kyubey is slowly trying to force her to be a magical girl. Yeah,
Kyubey is kind of like setting everything up the whole way through,
he's like,
right?
Yeah, he's like playing 3D chess, trying to push her to it. And like me, I'm like I saw it instantly. I was like, he's doing it. And I was just thinking to myself, like you have two sides telling you two different things. Just figure it out. Stop being so annoying and stop crying over everything. Which sounds heartless, but like genuinely, it just annoyed me.
It just annoyed me. That's what you're actually supposed to feel, I think, Jay.
Just annoyed?
Like no, honestly, I think so, yeah.
Madoka makes her decisions.
Were you both annoyed?
No.
Then you didn't react the way it was supposed to be.
Madoka made her decision not to become a magical girl, but then was coerced into it because Kyubey kept saying, you have to, you have to.
But she didn't.
You have to.
She did,
and then she did.
But she didn't make a decision not to be because she still kept involved. But she still kept involving herself in
She kept involving herself because her friends were putting themselves in danger. So she wanted to like make sure that they weren't.
Yeah, but what was she going to do?
It doesn't matter. That's just how she felt.
Sometimes you just support your friends even though you don't really, you just kind of just are along for the ride, right?
And die?
Well, yeah, I guess that could have happened, but she was being protected, right? I think the point is, like, honestly, I really think the whole point of this show is for Madoka's journey from being like kind of like a crybaby, like she can't really commit to anything, she just kind of is along for the ride, and then like the crescendo of the show, like the point where it really like is the climax is when Madoka talks to her mom and she's like, no, I'm going to go help.
Sure,
I
like
have to do this.
Well, the whole thing is that like it's about her slowly coming to make that decision, right? Because like at the beginning of the show, she has that discussion with her mom, and her mom says like sometimes you need to do something bad to show your friend you want to do something good.
Yeah, in an impossible situation, sometimes the only way out is to do something bad, right?
Right, like, but
if you're helping someone.
But it was more like until she made that decision, it was just like frustrating to me that she never like everything she did was just kind of not in tune with what everything else is going on.
She really doesn't do much for eight episodes of the show.
Most of the show she's crying.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I don't know.
Stuff's happening.
That's a valid reaction to what's happening, to be fair.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not saying that it's an invalid reaction. I'm just saying that like it annoyed me for most of the show. And now, like at that point I was just like, okay, I'm not vibing with this.
I want to say, Jay, I'm glad that you didn't vibe with it because it makes this podcast so much more interesting. And then I was worried that it was just going to turn into a gush fest because that's kind of gross when it's just a gush fest.
Yeah.
I do think it's valid that Madoka is kind of annoying, and I think that is kind of the point, is that it's the same reason that people don't like Shinji, is that he is kind of whiny. He doesn't really do a lot, and you're kind of the whole time you're like just like poking with a stick, like do something.
See, like, I'm not even like, you know, become a magical girl. I'm more like, you know, look around you, like, realize what's going on. Like, you could die here. You could die here.
Yeah, but I don't, people do that all. She's just kind of like wants to support her friends, right? But the point of the show is that her making a decision finally for once.
Yes.
For herself.
Yeah.
The decision... Yeah. But
I'm not saying that like she doesn't come to a decision. I'm just saying like it just frustrates me that it takes her so long, and it frustrates me that like. Anyway, sorry.
How do you guys see the decision? Is it a good decision in the end, or is it a bad decision?
Which decision are you?
Her deciding to become a magical girl. Her wish.
No, it's a good decision.
It's a it is a good decision. She wants hope and everything, but in the end, what changed? They're still fighting those things.
The girls don't become witches.
Yeah.
But they still put their lives in danger.
They do, yeah.
Sure, but they don't
and everybody forgot about her.
But except for Homura.
What I'm trying to say is, again, this show is all about like subverting expectations. Even the good, moral, and just decision that Madoka makes has its tragedy. Like, it's a tragic decision.
It's not a happy decision. You're not watching it with like a big grin on your face, like, yes, she finally did it.
No,
you're heartbroken that she did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, and they, well, unless you're
not supposed to. But like for me, I was like, oh, thank God, finally you came to a decision. But yeah.
So how I see it is, they kind of foreshadow it a little bit. I forget who, I think Homura says it to her, where she says, stop trying to like sacrifice yourself for the sake of everyone else. And that's exactly what she ends up doing in the end. It's exactly what they say she's going to do.
Yeah, like Homura says to her, like, if you do this, you're gonna lose everyone you know. No one's going to remember you, and nothing's going.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty valid reason to not do it.
Yeah, I think that's like so heroic of her, though, is like, because honestly, you're throwing away your ego entirely and just doing something for the greater good of everyone. And I know you said that it doesn't really do anything in the end because they're still fighting, but like the vibe is totally different. Like, it's not as despair. Kyubei's not using them in the same way. He's not tricking them into doing it. They're not becoming overwhelmed with the despair. It's just when they like their soul gem eventually like runs out, they basically just cease to exist.
Yeah,
it just shatters and they die, right? Instead of turning into a giant witch and then killing their friends. It's a totally different dynamic, and like I feel like that is.
I think I understand where Cole's coming from, because like he, like, at the end of the day, they're still in that like risking their life to be a magical girl kind of situation.
It's not a happy
the overall point I'm trying to make is that, like I said during the spoiler free section, was characters aren't what they seem. The plot isn't what it seems.
Oh, I can say that now. Keep going. Okay. But yeah, keep going. But like, I'll say it once you're done.
Try not to interrupt. Cold challenge level 100.
And the victory that's achieved at the end isn't quite what it seems, because you think you go through this big catharsis of Madoka going to meet all of her friends who've passed, and talking to Homura and how Homura will remember her and all of that, and you're like, okay, happy ending. Oh, no, it's not quite a happy ending. These magical girls still have to fight some other thing that the universe created that needs to be taken care of.
But the things aren't as dangerous either, too. But anyway,
regardless, that's my point, is that even in victory, that there's still, it's not quite as great as it seems.
This show's all about shades of gray, right? It seems black and white, and then it's not. Now, Jay, what were you so excited about?
Okay. So you were talking about like how nobody could have predicted the twist or anything. Episode 3, when the blonde girl dies.
Mommy. She's an angel. Mommy's an angel.
Zero's producer son probably loves her because she's a short-haired blonde girl with the name Mommy.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
The moment she died, I looked at my screen, paused, and said, he's throwing magical girls into the meat grinder, isn't he?
Well, that's not much of a prediction. When you said I predicted it, I assumed you meant like, oh, I predicted that
Homer
Kyubei is like
traveler.
Homer is a time traveler, and Kyubei is like what's the word? Emotionless, like, thing.
Well, like,
yes, Kyubei is throwing into the meat grinder, but not out of like malevolence, out of just
Kyubei's
like a pure apathetic. Like, he has no feeling.
Yeah,
he's just
like I kind of understood that. Like when like they die and he's still like, so do you want to be magical girls? I still need to hear your wish. So like I did But like that slowly pieced together the next episode when things for him just continued on. But also, the instant reaction was he's throwing people into the meat grinder.
I'm defending Kyubey. As a utilitarian, I totally understand where he's coming from.
Listen, Cole, I have to just tell you something right away. As soon as you say this, such a controversial opinion, Kyubey, I'm a Kyubey apologist as well. Because listen,
when he says like there's
it's such a good moral question, right? They're saving the universe by killing a few, in Kyubey's mind, like animals.
Well, he doesn't even say that they're animals. He says,
he does. He compares people to cattle.
No, but then he says we treat you better than cattle. Like we realize that you have a consciousness and all of that, so we try to keep that in mind. But what he's saying is like, what is the cost of one or two lives
save the universe, right?
Versus billions and billions of lives in the universe, and that his species has kind of helped them to develop into what they are. Also,
he even says, like, frankly, you'd still be living in caves naked if it weren't for us.
I love that. That was so poignant too. And he's like, so like you're saying that you've brought us to this point. Like, where would we be without you? He's like, you'd be, frankly, naked in caves still. Yeah. It's like, oh, Kyubey.
So are you a Thanos apologist then?
Honestly, yeah.
No, I'm not, because Thanos, if he's got the Infinity Stones, he could have snapped his fingers and just made twice of everything else rather than destroy twice of everything.
Well,
that's valid. That's a valid.
How do you know that? Because like maybe it's still
the Infinity Stones can literally break time and space. Jay, he can do anything, but we're not talking about the Infinity Stones.
How do you know he can create matter out of thin air?
Because he can.
The Infinity Stones.
The Infinity Stones can literally create matter out of thin air. Didn't he like create it? Like he made his he remade his planet.
Save it for the patron bonus episode where we review the entire Marvel franchise.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about is, what did you guys, when I was talking about there's no way you could have predicted the twist, Jay, the thing I was specifically referencing is that Kyubey is an alien life form and he's been controlling things since the beginning, and that Homura is a time traveler and that she's trying to prevent.
When you say controlling things since the beginning, do you mean like he's been manipulating Madoka or
society since day one, since we were like apes in caves? There's no way. It's a little Deus Ex Machina-y because it comes, like Cole said, out of nowhere. There's no way to predict that. Like, it's literally impossible.
No. I will grant you predicting that Kyubey is
the bad guy.
But again, he's not. He kind of is, but he kind of isn't. Like, he's just
at the end of episode 3.
I wasn't even predicting like, oh, he's the bad guy. I literally predicted his method. Which is like he's the one purposefully making these girls sacrifice themselves to become witches and use that power. Which
Jay, that's like a very astute observation of you. But like I do think it is something you could predict at that point.
By episode
basically
3?
what I'd say. I think it.
Well,
no,
I mean,
I'm not diminishing it. Like I'm saying, like it's impressive that you predicted it at that point, but I'd say it is something predictable at that point. Whereas like seeing Homura as a time traveler at that point would be like, how would you get there? I could
predict Homura as a time traveler because how does she know Madoka?
At that point there wouldn't really be anything.
No big hints, right?
The Homura,
she did blush. She blushed a lot around Madoka.
The first clue.
Everyone's blushing all the time.
Everybody's blushing all the time. There's a lot of blushing in this anime. The first big clue about Homura is where they're asking like, who is this third magical girl, and Kyubey's like, I don't know. She's like an anomaly.
For me, the big clue that she's a time traveler was like the little noise every time she'd move around.
I didn't pick up on that. No.
The bubbles. The bubbles was another good clue too. When the bubbles would kind of like, every time that she did her thing, it would show like bubbles. It was frozen in place. And there are like, it does this. That's one thing I love about this show is everything is put together so well that it all, even like the Deus Ex Machina type stuff, like Kyubey is controlling the society since day one. I don't even magical think girls for forever. I do think it's all beautifully built up.
That like that even matters for the grand scheme of the story as it is. Like, it doesn't really matter to the story at hand that he was controlling everything from the dawn of time.
Well, yeah, that's why Madoka turns into what she does, right?
Well, I mean, like if he didn't, like, I mean, the fact that she wanted to get rid of witches past and future, like, would that really change anything? Because, like, witches would still have existed at some point because he would have come to Earth at some point. That's where you start getting, being the dawn of time doesn't necessarily matter.
We're getting into the nitty gritty of time travel. And
time travel, I'm not a huge fan of time travel in general.
I like time travel for this reason, but yeah, you can just sit there and talk about. I know what you're saying, Jay. Like in one timeline, they still exist, so she didn't really do anything.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But whatever.
Okay, then I don't understand what you're saying.
It's whatever.
Yeah, but that's a good place to leave off on it then.
Are you guys gonna fight? Do I get to watch you guys fist fight over this show?
I don't know.
Again, I'm not trying to be mean. Like, I mean, I'm not
trying to be mean.
Like I said at the beginning, I get why people like it. I saw something there, but like, I think that like all of the parts put together just didn't really work for me. But like I said, Homura's great. I loved her story. I loved like how she just wanted to save her friend.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. I disagree with you, and your opinion's valid and my opinion's valid. And I do think that there is a lot to like here, and I think it is laid out very well. Like the way even from like if you go back and watch this from like I watched this for the third time, and I was still figuring out new things about it that I thought were like cool and unique, and like the detail to even go back and have every time that Madoka talks to Homura about like anything, and at first it comes off as just, oh, she's just a grumpy girl. She just doesn't like things, right? She's upset all the time. Like she's just a grouchy girl. But no, she's actually like that because she's done this like thousands of times. And every time she has to watch her best friend die, and then she has to reset in time, and then just see her best friend basically treat her like a stranger again. And it's just eating her up inside and killing her.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, and then for all of that to add up too, and the whole reason why Madoka has all this karmic balance too, and to be able to become the most powerful magical girl is because of her friend's love. So without Homura, Madoka is not the most powerful magical girl, and it even shows that too, because in the flashbacks where she originally accepted Kyubey's contract before Homura got there, she was much weaker, right? And she gets like turns into a god by the end because of Homura, and like it's just I don't know, it's poetic. I really like it a lot, and then at the end, so Homura's been sacrificing herself for like this entire time for Madoka's sake, and then in the end, Madoka finally takes action and sacrifices herself for Homura and everyone else. That's just something just so beautiful about that to me, and it's horrifically sad, and it tears at me to like enjoy it so much, and I really want to see what the sequel movie is about, because I don't really know where it goes from here. Yeah. And I get why you don't like this show. I really do get it. Like, there is a lot of reasons to not like it, and if you're not vibing with something, it just doesn't do it for you. It's like when I was watching Guilty Crown. Like, I just could not physically bring myself into the mindset, and then from that point, you're just not going to like it, right?
That
like,
was another thing that I didn't like about, you brought this up, like, or you sparked this memory. The exposition I felt like was very dialogue heavy. Just like them explaining everything that's going on, like with how the witches works, and the magical girls, and the soul seeds, and the all that. And eventually I just like kind of checked out, and it was like, okay, I'd rather you show me what's going on than just tell me. I don't know how you would do that though, is my counterpoint to you.
right? Like, how would you explain that grief seeds are actually just what happens when a soul gem breaks and turns into a witch?
Well,
they kind of do just show it.
They
right?
do show it, and then they ask Kyubey after.
At that point, like, that's later on in the show, but like, I'm talking about early on when the main premise is explained. That was a bit slow, and it didn't really like pick up for me until you got to episode 3.
Honestly, like the first couple episodes are kind of slow for that reason, because it's kind of
it's exposition heavy, and like I think that like that really it really stuck as a first impression.
It's sort of the nature of like a show this complex, though, is like you kind of can't have a show like this without exposition dumps. It's kind of like it's sort of the like. It's just like the necessary evil that comes with having something like this. I just think it's a shame, because like you can, I do think like there is a way to tell these kinds of stories, like not necessarily in the exact same way that this exact story was told, but like to the same effect that this story would tell, with less exposition.
Can you give me an example of, like...
I mean, like... What do you mean? An example.
What do you mean? Like, where was it exposition heavy?
At the beginning, when they're explaining all the stuff about, like, the soul seeds and the witches and how the magical girls have to fight them. I just thought like there was a lot of dialogue.
I thought it was handled well. Yes, there was dialogue, but they were, like... There was examples of how it was used. So, like, Mommy was explaining... Use the grief seed to absorb the thing in your thing. The thing in your thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like, her explaining it. Yeah, but I mean, her still explaining it, and then like, and then demonstrating, and then like, it felt a bit bloated for me, rather than like showing it, and then maybe like, it just shows like Madoka's watching her do it, and then it's like, oh. Okay, and then maybe it would be like later on, what did you just do, or something?
I just don't know if I agree with that, because like I'm kind of a simpleton when I watch things. Like I really, if it's too exposition heavy and it's just like a lot of like, that's probably my biggest thing about Monogatari, is a lot of the times it's interesting dialogue, but it's kind of just like a lot of dialogue and you're just sitting there like absorbing it. And I think this show did a good job of like, when it is exposition dumping, there's like cool visuals, or there's like sweet music in the background, and there's just enough going on to keep you invested.
That's what Shinbo's trying to do. He's trying to like keep your eyes entertained while it's just dumping all this information on you. But like at the end of the day, for me, like that
it just didn't work, right?
It just didn't work on me.
Yeah.
And I think it is what it is.
Like I said, like all of our opinions are valid here. We're just having a discussion, right?
Yes. Again, like I said, I understand why you guys, like I saw the potential in it. But for me, it just like, there were just like little things that like I think didn't really vibe.
You don't have to defend yourself, Jay. Like it's cool, bro.
Yeah, we're having a discussion. Yeah. I mean, we can't just keep talking around in circles about point, counterpoint, counterpoint. It's not a debate.
Until it is.
Well, it kind of is, but we're not going to convince each other to change our minds.
No, right. We're never, and like, I feel like we both respect that we have conflicting opinions, and that's okay.
It's the whole point of the podcast, my friends.
Well, nobody wants to listen. Like Mike said, it'd be gross if we were all just...
It'd be disgusting.
Now, our next review, where we're all gushing about how good girlfriend is. Now that's when the quality entertainment happens. I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to watch that.
I want to reveal something to you, boys.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah.
So I recently watched all of Rent-A-Girlfriend. Mm-hmm. Pretty much caught up. I'm watching the dub because I'm a gross dub watcher. I was tempted, actually, because I watched Rent-A-Girlfriend to understand the hype. That's what I do that a lot of times to watch things. Mm-hmm. I was tempted to immediately go and watch Girlfriend just to understand Cole's brain a little better.
You will never understand my brain.
No, but I feel like when you watch something someone loves, you do understand something about them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't, and I'm glad I held off.
Yeah.
Because now I get to watch it with my 2 boys, and we get to talk about it.
And we get to talk about it.
By the way, Mike, I'm jealous of you. You're still in the part of Rent-A-Girlfriend where it's not horrible.
Yeah, honestly, the hot take, the anime is not as bad as people say. It's not great.
It's not
Don't
good.
Get me wrong.
It's not good. But like it's
entertaining.
It's serviceable.
Yeah,
all right. Save it for the Rent-A-Girlfriend.
We'll
review.
Get there.
We'll get there. I'm sure we will someday. You guys will punish me with it. That's it for this week. We'll be back next week. But until we come back next week, you can follow us on social media at AniProPod. That's ANIPROPOD. You can follow each of us individually if you'd like. Links to everything is in the description. Leave a like, review, subscribe. Give us a 5-star review and tell a friend all about us, and join our Discord. You can talk to us on there. Links to everything's at our website, anipropod.com, or in the show notes. And if you really like us, why don't you consider supporting us on Patreon? You get some extra benefits, such as an extra vote in our listener choice review.
Oh, the next review after this will be listener's choice. So yes.
No,
we're alternating now, aren't we?
Are we? I don't know. We'll talk about it after.
We'll talk about it off air.
We'll talk about it off air. Join our Patreon. You get
early access to new episodes.
Access, bonus episode monthly, special thing at the Discord. You get exclusive chat on the Discord. Why don't you join our Patreon like these wonderful people? Mr. Family Guy 36, Elijah Wood, Brain Dead B-Dog, Super Mexi, Peach, and Frama. Thank you all so much for supporting us. We continue to produce these okay podcasts.
Do you know who the true magical girls of this podcast are?
Us.
Our patrons.
Oh. Are we the Cube?
We're the Cubes. We've corrupted them into serving our purposes.
We're taking advantage of their natural state.
Yes.
And getting rid of all their hope.
Getting rid of all their hope until one of them rises up.
And then they will break and turn into a witch and destroy us.
Yeah.
We've got a manga review coming up. I believe it's next week, actually. We're going to be reviewing Goodbye Eri. So do your homework. Make sure you're good boys and girls. Do your homework and read the manga so that you can listen to us review it. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Until we come back next week, we say, as we do at the end of every episode of the Anime Protagonist podcast, bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.